Hi everybody, and welcome to this event where you will get an exclusive insight into what Husqvarna sees as the future of lawn care and garden care. My name is Linda Lindqvist and I'm product manager of the digital experience of Mower, and I will be your host during this event. From the first robotic mower driven by solar panels to our app Mower Connect, helping our consumers live smarter lives. The Husqvarna legacy of innovation continues to shape the future of intelligent lawn care. We're evolving the experience from a robotic mower with a remote control to a system that supports you on a personal level when achieving a lawn to be proud of. But what's next? Today I'm joined by Erik Norling from Product Management, Patrik Jägenstedt and Rickard Landin from our innovation team. And together we will explore the future of lawn care and give you a small preview into what's next for Husqvarna. Erik will talk about the innovation-driven heritage of Husqvarna and the immediate future. Rickard will take us on a journey into our mower's intelligent mind. And Patrik will zoom out and provide perspective on your garden's biological state of health and the potential of your mower's social behavior. After these topics, we'll end the event with a Q&A section. So we encourage you to post all your questions in the chat throughout this event. And please write your name, country, and publication so that we can get back to you with the answers that we won't have time to cover today. But now, let's embark on this journey together and let's start from the beginning. With that, I'll hand over to Erik Norling. Welcome, Erik.
Thank you, Linda. First of all, I'd just like to give a little bit perspective on our heritage. Husqvarna is one of the world's oldest companies, being founded in Sweden already in 1689. With our more than 300-year heritage, during the time we have managed to reinvent ourselves again and again, creating new opportunities and moving into new industries. We constantly leverage the technology to turn opportunities into consumer value. And therefore, we like to regard ourselves as the world's oldest startup.
An example of this passion for innovation is when we launched the world's first robotic lawnmower already in 1995, called the solar mower. And we have it here right with us today.
We do. So over here on my right-hand side, you see the solar mower. And with the solar mower, we created a completely new category, revolutionizing modern lawn care. And as you can see, it was ahead of its time when it came, because it was already back in the late 90s, solar-powered. On the left-hand side, on the other hand, you see our latest mower that we launched for the consumers. And you can see that a lot has happened, actually, in terms of industrial design and overall development of it, just looking at the size, for example. But to give you a little bit more flavor of what it looked like back then, I will show you a clip of our R&D team working on it at our test center back in Spain in 1997.
Befinner vi oss nu på Husqvarna Testing Center i södra Spanien. Här ligger Astor Gunnar då och gör färdig för operation. In med nya programvara. Här sitter programmeraren själv.
Industrial developments usually happen through minor updates of existing products. On rare occasions, entirely new concepts are created. And Husqvarna Automower is one of them. It was so revolutionary that it required a vast amount of stubbornness, patience, and economic perseverance to make it into a marketable product. In hindsight, the conditions were perfect. The idea came to the right company and the right person at the right time.
Husqvarna is a true innovation company working to create ever-evolving value for our consumers. Can you give us some more examples of other groundbreaking new innovations?
For sure. During the last years, we have launched several groundbreaking new innovations that are actually setting new standards in the robotic lawn mowing market. In 2019, we launched the first all-wheel drive robotic lawnmower that is able to maintain slopes of up to 70% inclination with perfect cutting results. Another example is in 2020 when we launched the Husqvarna Epos mower. And Epos, for you who don't know what that stands for, it's Exact Positioning Operating System. And that was the world's first wire-free mower using only satellite navigation instead of the traditional boundary wires.
For those who aren't that familiar with robotic lawnmowers, what is the benefit of a boundary wire-free solution?
Good question. Well, normally the robotic lawnmowers use boundary wires along the borders of the lawn to define the work area. So you fence it in, so to say, where the robot is supposed to do its job. And you also then use, for example, guide wires to easily get the guide the mower back to the charging station. Unfortunately, there are some weaknesses with these wires because they're sensitive to cable breaks. And they can limit you if you want to, for example, scarify your lawn. With a wire-free mower, on the other hand, you don't have any physical wires. And instead, you create virtual boundaries and thereby eliminating these potential problems. And our focus with the EPOS mowers has primarily been on the professional users. And today, we serve several thousands of these mowers actually actively maintaining football fields, golf courses, city parks, and lawns across the globe.
But when will this wire-free solution be available for consumers?
Looking ahead, we naturally continue to innovate. And already next year, we will launch the next generation robotic lawnmowers featuring the wire-free EPOS technology also for private gardens. We're taking all the learnings and all the experience that we have collected and learned now from the professional side, and we incorporate that into a new fantastic range of consumer mowers.
I know that we also just recently launched other breakthrough technology for consumers. Would
That's
you like
correct.
to give some examples?
Yep. This year, or just a couple of weeks ago actually, we launched a new technology called Automower Intelligent Mapping, or AIM as the abbreviation says. And with AIM, what we're able to do is to create a digital map of your lawn. And the benefits of this is that you can create customizable zones with different schedules and cutting heights, for example. But to give you a little bit more flavor of what that means and what the benefits are, I will show you a clip explaining the AIM technology more in detail.
No two lawns are the same. So how can each garden get a customized cut? Husqvarna introduces Automower Intelligent Mapping technology, letting you cut your lawn according to your vision. After creating a virtual map of your garden, the zone control feature lets you create zones for you to customize your lawn as you choose, all while feeding your data regarding its progress, challenges, and letting you make adjustments on the go through the Automower Connect app. This enhanced map also shows the position of the mower as well as the location of the boundary and guide wires. Do some parts need to be cut more often and others a little less? Cut to a specific length or a particular time of day? Does Automower need to stay out of certain areas? With AIM technology, the choice is entirely yours.
We are very excited about being first on the market with this technology, and we know that zone control is something our consumers are really asking for. Thank you, Erik.
Thank you.
Right now we are doing intense testing with our next generation of robotic lawnmowers. Let's take a look at when I visited our test leader, Abdul Kayali, earlier at the test site. Here we are at one of our test sites where we're doing some intense testing of our next generation of robotic lawnmowers. And I'm here together with our test lead, Abdul. Would you like to introduce yourself?
Hello, my name is Abdurrahman and I am a telecom engineer and I'm working as a test leader for the next Automower Husqvarna mover that will be released next year.
So we're launching this new platform next year. What is new about it?
Yes, one main feature that it supports the boundary wire free mowing, which means that you don't need to think about the physical wires. You can simply create virtual boundaries and zones in your garden with the help of your mobile phone. Moreover, it features new technology to improve the object avoidance, meaning it will smoothly avoid bumping into unexpected objects. It features also improved terrain accessibility, meaning less wear and tear on the grass, and it will support also a number of new accessories.
New accessories. Can you say anything more about that?
Unfortunately not. Sorry.
Too soon, but very exciting. We launched a boundary wire-free solution towards professional a couple of years ago. And why is it taking us until 2023 to launch towards consumers?
Yes, that's true. We were first out with our boundary wire-free mowing solution based on EPOS satellite technology in 2020. And since then, it has been used very successfully by professionals around the world. But what one needs to understand that the private gardens are totally different than the public spaces. Let's say football ground. In private gardens, like the one that we are in right now, you have varied terrain, plenty of trees, walls, houses, placing tougher demands on the satellite technology.
But how much will the product differ between a professional and a one towards the consumer?
This is the reason why we had to develop an extra robust and user-friendly solution that work with different sensors in order to reach the demand of the private gardens. This is why we didn't want to rush to the market with a new product until we have had fully finished testing and developing it.
Because our consumers, they have very high expectation. They are anticipating this, and we will live up to their expectations.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm. What kind of technology does the boundary wire-free consumer mower use? Does it differ from the technology that the professional product use?
Yeah, the basic technology is the same, but we refine the software because the software are the main key to find a solution that works for the consumers. It's our journey to developing movers for the consumers that gives us the experience and expertise to find the solution that works best for the residential gardens.
Yeah, I know we have been working with the boundary wire-free solution for quite some time now.
Yeah, we have been working on EPOS satellite technology since 2014, 2015 to understand the possibilities and limitations in this technology. The tests have accelerated since we have released our professional EPOS mover in 2020. And we currently have a couple of thousand of movers with boundary free wire solution in operation around the world. But if you would like to compare it with a car navigation system, for example, where in this system you can have accuracy in positioning in meters to reach your destination. But with EPOS satellite technology, you will be able to reach centimeters in accuracy. That allowed the mover to stay inside your garden and not cut your flowers, for example.
So we need to be more accurate and precise than the car.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm. What tests are being conducted right now?
Yeah, we are mainly testing the accuracy of positioning in different environments, which is down to 2 centimeters, as well as the radio signal between the mover and the reference station. In parallel, we are also testing the best user experience via Automover Connect app.
Yeah, the Automover Connect app will be the most important interface between the mower and the consumer. Yes. And as we said before, our consumers have very high expectations and a great experience and great results, and we will live up to them.
Absolutely.
So what's your main focus right now?
Yeah, we have just started our intensive test season. So we will do the final tuning and looking forward for next year for the release.
Yeah, we are all looking forward to that. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Erik and Abdul, for sharing our innovation vision and for making us excited about the immediate future of lawn care. Before we continue, I want to remind you again to post your questions in the chat. But now, let's look further. So far, the robotic mower has been a key enabler for smart lawn care, providing you with the extra support needed when creating and maintaining a lawn to be proud of. By harnessing technological capabilities such as cloud computing, artificial intelligence, and more sophisticated sensors, it's time to let your robotic mower play an even larger role. In time, we see it evolving to a fully fledged gardener that takes your lawn and your garden to the next level. Let's take a look at a robot that not only maximizes the potential of your lawn, but goes beyond the boundaries of your garden to increase local biodiversity and seamlessly become your personal helper, no matter your needs. We are very excited to present a short film showcasing some of the areas and features that we envision to be the future of lawn care.
How's my garden doing?
It's great. Our biodiversity increased by 12% and I've watered the south corner. Oh, the kids are home. I'll go to sleep and continue tomorrow.
So that's the first glimpse of our vision for the future of lawn mowing. Now, with the help of our experts here at Husqvarna, we will dig a bit deeper and look at the technology behind. We will present 3 main themes of development where we see that new technology will create entirely new possibilities for lawn care, coming 5, 10 to 15 years. We'll start with your smart garden supervisor. How the robotic mower's data-driven mind will unlock potential that will revolutionize your garden experience. Then we'll continue with your Biodiversity Guardian. How our innovative direction will enable you to maximize the biodiversity and environmental health of your garden. Then we'll end with your sociable garden companion. How personalized behavior will be part of the future consumer experience of a robotic lawnmower. First of all, I will hand over to you, Rickard Landin, our AI specialist from the innovation team, and you will talk about your smart garden supervisor.
Yes, thank you, Linda. The tech development is going on in rapid speed, never seen before. And we for sure are in the forefront of this development, bringing it to the lawnmower. Linda, envision that after unboxing your mower, you won't need any complex installation. Just with a simple click of a button, the mower will power on and download its location from a GPS receiver. And then it will automatically download the boundaries for your garden from a satellite map service or from a governmental website. The robot will, with the help of its camera, discover your swimming pool, your precious flower beds, stone tiles in your garden, and other stay-out areas to make sure that it can work perfectly without you needing to tell the mower about all the locations of these things. It may even learn the specifics of your garden from your old mower if you already have one, making it even easier to upgrade your auto mower than it is to replace your smartphone. The mower will by itself look at weather forecasts and communicate with other smart devices such as watering system, weather sensors.
So now the mower will collect a lot of data, but how will the data be used?
So from this data, the mower will make decisions such as where to cut your grass, when to cut it, and at what height to cut the grass. And all this to make your garden look as good as possible based on your preferences. It will also make a visual inspection of your garden and detect its state of health, and not only change its own behavior depending on the results, it will also provide this information to other smart systems.
Mm-hmm. So here your robot really becomes a part of your smart garden.
Yeah, exactly. And it will inform, for example, the watering system on how much water is needed at any given point in your garden to optimize your garden's well-being without any excessive usage of water resources. Our robotic products will utilize data from sensors and information from other devices and the power of the cloud computing as input for the AI engine to help you to manage your garden in a perfect way with only a minimum of human interaction.
I hear that we also will go back in history and reintroduce solar power.
Yes, so when the mower is done with its job, it will find an optimal spot in your garden where it can recharge its battery from the sun while sleeping and preparing for its next mission.
Thank you, Rickard. Thank you for describing and how increased ability to analyze data will enable features and intelligent behavior. And we have more examples of this. Patrik Jägenstedt, the director of the innovation team. Hi.
Hi, Linda.
You have worked over 20 years with developing outdoor mowers.
Correct.
And today you will talk about the robotic mower as your biodiversity guardian.
Yes. We at Husqvarna, we know that the garden is so much more than the green area that you have
behind your house. It is connected to your own health and well-being. It's connected to the community and even to the world at large, being part of a biological ecosystem.
But do we know how concerned the private garden owner is about biodiversity? And does it really matter what we do?
Well, we know that it is a topic that is increasing for the consumers. A few years ago, we didn't hear a lot about it. And actually, we don't know if people know at all about the pollinating insects and the biodiversity that is part of the garden. And also, our research shows that it's really important what you do in your private garden when it comes to the biodiversity. Actually, up to half of the green spaces in the city consists of areas that are from private gardens. And Husqvarna is therefore driving innovation that promotes biodiversity.
Yeah, like with the new Automower intelligent mapping, where the consumer themselves can divide the lawn into different working areas and also create stay-out zones to allow parts of the lawn to grow higher grass and blossoming flowers that will, like a small meadow in your garden, to support biodiversity. And so that's how we can solve it today.
Yeah, and in the future, we think that this will be more automated, so you don't have to make the setting itself. The product will assess the size and the shape of your garden, and it will also then calculate and come with recommendations to you where and how you can have this area. So that's the kind of things that we see for the future.
Mm. But what is the technology behind that enables this more automated behavior?
Well, a lot of it comes back to what Richard said before. It's a lot of data that we collect in the mower. And it's both data generated in the mower. For example, we have the camera that moves around, it looks and sees what you have in your garden. And it analyzes what you have. And it also communicates to other robots in the close vicinity to get their information of what's there. But also using external data like aerial footages, for example, weather data, as Richard also was talking about before, and to gather all of that data from the neighborhood.
Mm. But then this is based on a community of robot mower owners that share information from their gardens with each other.
Yeah, that's correct. And of course, you can choose whether you want to be a part of this and get the data and get all of that information, or if you want to stay out and say, no, my garden is a standalone garden. I don't want to share my data, so this is my standalone. But if you want, you can, of course, participate and get all of that data and get the benefits from that.
Mm. But can you give some more example of how this data that the mower collects will be used to support biodiversity?
Yeah, exactly. So let's say you have... for pollinating insects, we have those meadows that we were talking about before. The mower with this camera can identify what kind of flowers you have in your garden and what kind of flowers the neighbors' robots report that they have. And let's say that your neighbor have a lot of flowers that are blossoming in May and June. Then we can recommend by the system that you plant flowers that is blossoming in September or October, whenever that is, so that you have in the community where you live, you have flowers all the time. So that could be one example. Or let's say that you want to plant a fruit tree and you want to make sure that your fruit tree gives you fruit. Then let's say you have a pear tree you want to plant, and then you could say, well, I know that 2 blocks away there is a tree of this kind, and if you plant a similar one, you will probably get fruit on your ones. But if you choose to plant this one, we don't see any similar trees in the close vicinity of your garden. So therefore, if you do it, buy 2 or plant 2 of them, then you will probably get fruit. But if you buy 1, it's a risky business. Mm-hmm. But you could also have it to say, looking at your blackcurrant bush and see, you have some brown leaves here. You should probably go out and look if you have some pests on that or something like that.
Thank you, Patrick. The robotic mower will really become a fully fledged gardener, helping you succeed with not only your lawn, but also your garden. Also a very interesting example how your robotic mower and your neighborhood's robotic mowers will collect data that can be utilized to benefit the whole community and to support biodiversity. Our last topic is how the robotic mower will become your sociable garden companion. Patrick, how will we take personalization to the next level?
Well, good question. But first of all, we need to realize that everybody's using their garden differently. So some people use it mainly for tranquility. Other people have a lot of parties. Some people really like to have a lot of gardening. They grow fruits and vegetables and things like that, and also, of course, flowers. Other people use it for games. There's a lot of kids playing around. Yet again, leisure. And some people see it as the extension of their living room. And that changes over the years and over the season and over the time. So we need to have innovation that makes the products and the systems adapt to you and what you are doing for the time being, and also who you are as a person.
Okay, so it can evolve with you as your lifestyle and your situation changes. How will it adapt to you as a person and your personal preferences?
Yeah, so I mean, if you are the kind of person that don't want to see the robot, for example, you can say that I want the silent servant. So it should only be there and do its job. And when you're there, you don't see it, but you see the good result in the end. So when you, for example, come home from the work, it already knows that you're approaching because it sees that your smart device, whatever you have in a few years, the phone nowadays, approaches the area, and then it goes back to its charging position and hides, so to say, there until you move away for a walk. Then it goes out and do it again. So the only thing you see is the perfect result in the end. You can also choose it to have the more social as a pet, so to say. So when you get home, it comes up and greets you. It knows that you're approaching again, same thing. But now it comes up and stands and works in the area where you can directly see it. And when it rotates at the comfort person, it went up to you and say, or diddly-dit, or hello, or whatever. So it behaves more like a pet and greets you when you're there. And when every time you get out from the house, it's there and greets you. And when you mow in, it might say, or whatever. So that's the kind of thing you can do in the future.
I already treat my Automower as a pet, and it will be really cool when it starts behaving like this too. Well, it's interesting to think about how the robotic mower and the system will evolve with you and adapt its behavior to meet your needs. How about when you wanted to adapt to what's going on right now in your garden? And today we have some solutions. We have smart connections in the app so that the mower automatically parked based on events that you have in your calendar. Will this become even more smart and automatic in the future?
Yeah, absolutely. So what we see, I mean, again, coming back to that, we have the camera on the mower, and also that it is AI in the mower so that it can understand what is going on, what's called scene understanding. So if it, for example, sees a person lying on the ground or close to the ground, it realizes that this is probably a person taking a rest or sunbathing or whatever. And then it will mow away, be silent, and definitely work in the other ends of the area, not working that close to you. But let's say that it sees that a lot of people are running around quite rapidly in the garden. It could realize, aha, probably playing games in here. So then it can go in there and be part of it. If you're playing football, it comes in and interfere with you, if you want that, of course.
So all in all, we believe that improved technological capabilities through cloud computing and AI will enable personalized behavior, and that it will be an important part of the consumer experience going forward.
Yeah, exactly. And I think you're right there when you say the consumer experience, because innovation should never be just for the sake of technology. The innovation should always be for the consumer experience, and the technology should be the enabler of it. So our products and services should be your partner in the garden, supporting you to make great experiences today, tomorrow, and beyond.
Thank you, Patrik. And thank you all, Erik, Rickard, and Patrik, for sharing our innovation vision and for creating anticipation for coming years and many years ahead. We started today talking about our heritage and the immediate future, where we will launch Automower Intelligent Mapping and the next generation of robotic lawnmowers featuring the Wirefree EPOS technology. Then our innovation team covered three main themes, where we see new technology creating entirely new possibilities for lawn care. Your data-driven garden supervisor, how the robotic mower's data-driven mind will unlock potential that will revolutionize your garden experience. Your Biodiversity Guardian, how our innovative direction will enable you to maximize the biodiversity and environmental health of your garden. And we ended with your sociable garden companion, how personalized behavior will be part of the future consumer experience of the robotic lawnmower. Let's take one more look at the robotic lawnmower of the future before we go into the Q&A section.
How's my garden doing?
It's great. Our biodiversity increased by 12% and I've watered the south corner. Oh, the kids are home. I'll go to sleep and continue tomorrow.
Okay, so we have talked about really advanced technology today, but yet we had some technology problems here with our event, and we apologize for that. We have received a lot of questions in our Q&A, and a lot of them are about our event problems, but we have also received other questions about the content of the event, and we thank you for that. We are joined now by Sofia Axelsson also, our head of the residential business. Welcome, Sofia.
Thanks.
And before we start with the questions that we have in the chat, I would like to ask you, out of these innovations that we have been talking about, where do you see the largest commercial potential?
I mean, there are so many opportunities, and one I probably would pick is this area of autonomous and the smart lawn care, where we really can help and guide the consumer with hints and tips on how to get an even nicer, even more good-looking lawn. But obviously, that is one of very many.
Another question then. Why are you not ready to launch a boundary wire-free solution until next year? Is that you or Eric, maybe?
I can take this one. Expecting quite a few questions about the boundary wire-free technology overall. But in this case, when we launched the EPOS technology, we launched into the professional area first. And the reason for that is that the technology, as it is, was mainly suitable for open spaces where you had good coverage for the GPS satellites. But looking at it, what we're working with is now translating that into a private consumer's context, so to say, which is more complex because you've got buildings, hedges, trees, etc. And that is currently what we're now focusing upon to create a good consumer experience.
I see that the next question is actually related to this. What specifically are the key learnings you've gathered from the wire-free within the professional segment?
Well, when you look at it, what we are doing is, of course, collecting the data that we have from all these mowers that are currently out there working. And we're making some adjustments to the hardware, so the technology in itself, but most of the work is actually coming in the area of the software to be able to compensate and to work in those more demanding consumer gardens. You could think that smaller is easier, but in this case, it's actually more difficult. But that is what we're working on to create a good experience for the consumer that works and is robust.
Okay, next question. Do you believe that the robotic mower will still be app operated? And I guess that's a question for me. Our focus is always to create the best user experience for our consumer. And now we have the app. We don't know what the technology will be in 5-10 years. The app will be complemented with other things like voice and gestures. But overall, we will always focus on a best user experience. And right now it's the app. We don't know what it will be in the future. Is AIM available for all Husqvarna mowers? You again, Eric, I think.
Yeah, well, product questions. That's ending on my plate. Well, AIM, as we're launching it this year, it's possible to be used with our latest models. So in specific, that's the Automower 405X, 415X, and our two all-wheel drive models. And the reason why it's these models specifically is because they have the latest generation of sensors and the right hardware in them to be able to actually utilize this technology that we're developing. Anybody who owns it, one of these mowers that maybe bought them last year or 2 years ago, they will get access to this new technology. So when they start their mowers, they will get a prompt to update the firmware or the software in the mower, and then they will get the technology also. So it's for free, and it's for all these mowers that we have. And naturally, moving forward, when we launch a new version or a new model, we will, of course, build on AIM also for those mowers.
Okay. What will be the benefits of lawn mowers in the neighborhood learning to communicate with each other? I think it's time for you, innovation team.
Yeah, I think you will take that together.
Yeah, I can take that. So Linda, have you ever looked into your neighbor's garden and realized that the grass is greener on the other side of the fence?
I have.
Yeah.
Recognize that one.
So when the mowers can communicate with each other and share information such as cutting settings, watering periods, fertilizing periods, you can also get the same benefits in your garden and also have a nice looking garden nice looking grass in your lawn.
Great. Was it your new Wirefree mower we saw in the interview? How far away is it from the finished product? It was blurred.
It was blurred. There's a reason for it, to be honest. But yes, it was a sneak peek of the new mower. And from a design perspective or a mechanical perspective, it is pretty close to final, I would say. But still, we're working on fine-tuning it. We're working on definitely on the software side, but mostly in terms of making sure that it's robust and testing and validating that it is giving the consumer experience that we expect and definitely our consumers expect from us when we launch a new product. So without saying much more than this, I'd say sit tight and we will tell you more later on during this year and definitely next year.
Exciting.
Good answer, Eric.
Okay, so this is a more business-related question. What potential do you see for robot as a service? How far away is it in time?
I think already today we could see consumers seeing a great value of buying, a nice lawn or a perfect lawn as a service. And already today we offer, winter service, storage, all sorts of different services. And also in the pro area we already offer the robotics as a service. So definitely a big part of an opportunity for us as we move on to expand in this area.
You mentioned different types of social behaviors. Which ones of these do you think most consumer will ask for? And I guess I can answer that too. With social behaviors, we're talking about when the mower adapts its behavior according to your preferences. And we really believe that that's the most important part, that it can adapt to the consumer the way the consumer wants it. If you want the silent servant doing its job, it should do that. If you want more of what Patrick talked about, when the mower behaves like a pet, greeting you when you come home, you should be able to have that. But it's important that you can choose. We think that's most important, that it can adapt to your preferences. Do you agree?
I totally agree. Adapt to you. That's the way we want it.
Okay, next one. You talk about sensors. Could you say something more about what kind of sensors you envision?
Yeah, I think this is for me as well. We have different kinds of sensors in the mower. Some of them are internal, like camera and GPS receiver, keeping track of its position. But we also have external sensors, like humidity sensor, temperature sensors. And together with all these sensors, we can provide a very intelligent behavior for the mower, adapting to the environment. And I think that's what we're going to see in the future.
Okay. Some people see today's robotic mower as a threat to biodiversity. What do you think about that, Patrick?
Yeah, we were talking about biodiversity before. I think when we say that robotic mowers could be a threat to biodiversity, I think that we mean that we are giving monocultures in the lawns. We have only grass and nothing else, and that could be the problem. And of course, that would not be related to it being only robotics. It could be any type of mowing that you have, where you always cut away everything that grows. So I think, so it's not the type of mowing that is the problem, it's rather that we have no patches of long grass. So for that we want you to have, as I said, long patches of longer grass where you can have some blossoming flowers. Because the problem is again for the pollinating insects, so that they have some flowers to pollinate and get around. So when you have that, with the current technology already today, you can make stay out areas, for example, with a boundary wire. You can have those temporary stay outs that we have in like metal shapes. And of course, for the next project, it will be the AIM system that you can set as a temporary stay out for that. So that's what we're doing into it. So therefore, I think you could always do that with a walk behind as well. So I don't see a difference between a walk behind and a robot. But the important thing is leave those patches with the longer grass and flowers.
So it's real about if the consumer is aware about biodiversity, cares about it, our technology will support that.
Yeah, exactly. And today we support it, but you have to do it quite a bit manual. But in the future, we would say you should only say, yes, I want this feature, and the mower should adapt and give you those patches that is good for your lawn and good for your neighborhood.
Good. Okay. Okay, so this is about solar power. We looked at that mower before. Why do you see a return to solar power, and why did you give it up for such a long time, Eric?
Well, as you saw on the solar power that the solar mower, I meant to say, that I showed in the beginning. I mean, you saw the size of it, and that was for the solar panels to give the power to the mower. And that's currently, when you look at it, it is the capacity of the mower, which is then the limitation. We are not getting sufficient output from the solar panels. But technology is evolving, it's going fast also in solar power, and will become more efficient. So looking ahead in time, we definitely see that we will reach a stage where we can have solar power for our normal automowers also.
How will the mower learn how to identify different trees and flowers, and how far are you in the development right now? Also, innovation team, who wants to answer?
I can start, so let's see. Well, as we have talked about before, it's a camera in the product, and that's the basic thing. So it's a camera and artificial intelligence inside the mower. That is a neural network that we have trained. And the training of this network is, I would say, the secret. And that is that we have images that consists of flowers and grass and whatever, and they are classified so that you can tell this is a picture of a flower, this is a picture of this kind of flower. And we feed that one into the neural network that will be the intelligence of the mower. And this is done using public databases, first of all. So that's already available, millions of pictures that is already annotated, as it's called. But also building our own databases by the pictures we tag ourselves, and also in the future for the pictures being sent up by the mower. This is something I do not recognize. It sends it up, we can classify it, and then send it back and retrain it again. So that's the technology. And the technology is already existing today, much of it, but what we are expecting for the future is for the computing power to be less and less costly, and also for the cameras to be less costly, so that it will be more cost efficient to have it into the product.
Okay. What is the future role of the robotic mower from a sustainability point of view? Is it Eric or Sophia, maybe?
I pick it then, Eric. Yeah.
Your turn.
I mean, to pick an automower, I think is a really sustainable choice. We in our studies have seen that about 80% of the carbon emission impact actually happens during use of the product. So you then can compare that with a petrol walk-behind mower. It is, quite a big difference. Obviously, beyond that, we're working on much more of a circular model, subscription models that will be very, supporting the sustainability agenda. But obviously also looking at production technologies, materials we can use. So sustainability is really high on our agenda.
Let's see. Okay, so I see that we are running out of time. We have received a lot of questions, so I think this will be the last one that we will take on for the day. But your local PR contact will reach out to you and answer your questions that we haven't been able to cover here today. But let's take the last one. Out of these innovations, Which ones do you think will take the longest to develop? And when do you anticipate this will be?
A development question. I will try to answer that one. I would think that it is the advanced scene understanding that will take the longest time to develop. And the reason for that is that it's so many steps of intelligence that you have to add to that. And we've seen that when there's very many steps of intelligence and many steps, it can be hard to judge when it comes to the market, of course. But it's the first step to recognize what is on the picture. There's a person. Next step would be identifying there are several persons and they're moving in a certain pattern. And then realizing what does that mean that they move in that certain pattern. Okay, they are playing or they are having a barbecue. And then the next step is how do I respond to what is going on in this image? So it's so many steps in this. That's why I think that total part of it with the scene understanding and reacting to that will take quite some time before we get it on the market. That said, I mean, we will not launch that as the first launch and have nothing up until then. We will, of course, launch this stepwise, starting probably with image recognition and then adding to that, evolving. And if you buy one product, it will probably also evolve the technology for it. So starting relatively soon and then continue for a lot of years to develop and be more and more advanced.
A super exciting journey ahead of us with that. Okay. Thank you so much for your patience today. We had some technical problems, but we hope that we have created anticipation and excitement and that you are as excited as we are about the future of lawn care and the future of garden care. And we thank you so much for joining, and your questions will be answered later, the ones that we haven't covered. Thank you so much for today. Bye from Husqvarna.
Bye. Bye.